was not lying about how busy it gets out here. I've seen flashlights all over the place. Heck, I think I got one sitting on the ground probably 150 yards behind me. I never seen him climb up a tree, but he walked in and turned his light off back there. I got one off to my right, probably 200 yards. I seen that one climb the tree, and I seen two across on the other side of the creek. I don't know where they went from, and I was seeing it on and off as I was walking through the woods. This place is crazy. I believe I'm in a good exit route, and over the past few times I've hunted out here in this vicinity, I've been seeing like any kind of chasing that's been going on. They keep running across this little finger right here and running up the hill, and so whenever they're trying to get away from anything, bugs, people, whatever, they're running through that big swamp right there, or that creek bottom. They cross the creek about 50 yards down from what I've seen. Run across this finger right here where I'm at and go up the hill. And this is the same way those two bucks that was fighting the other night come across this finger and come up there to me. I had one move through that bottom down there. I couldn't tell if it was a buck I was up on that ridge right there. I had a nice buck come through chasing a dude. They crossed this creek, run out this way, and then run up the ridge beside me over there. I never could get a good clean shot on it, but there was a younger fella, about 16 years old, not on the same ridge as me, but he was on the other side. Ended up shooting it, and it was a pretty nice buck. He had a double main beam on it. It was pretty cool. And I got very little footage of it, and I try to slow it down so you can see it. But I mean, I said it was just hard. And then trying to get my binoculars and stuff to where I could see you. I was trying to use the gun because the way they was chasing, I knew one of them was a buck, and I was just trying to get on it so I could figure out if it was a shooter or not, a legal buck or not. And it was, but by the time I figured that out, it was too late, and he never did give me a real good clean shot. So I come back down in here. This is where, you know, it's a flat bottom. I got this creek running right here with a little waterfall. I'm sure you can hear it. But I'm halfway in between where I was sitting the first time I come down in this bottom and that ridge. I got a little bit closer to the ridge so I could see that ridge. For whatever reason, the deer, the rut activity in here is crazy. And that's the third time I done had something to do with the rut happen down in here. But they run across this creek bottom and running over that ridge right there. And it's just a point, you know, where it fingers down into the creek. They're running over it and going up another ridge. For what, I don't know why, but says, no, I'm glad I found it because I'm seeing plenty of rut activity right here. And as long as I keep the same wind, it's supposed to rain like crazy over the next 2 days. You see, that's why I got my rain suit on. But tomorrow's gonna be real bad. I don't even know how much filming I'm gonna be able to do tomorrow. We got a pretty good storm coming in today, but it ain't supposed to last that long. Well, these walk-ins right here ain't no joke. Get out here and bust my butt and slide all the way down this hill. Ooh, ooh, ooh. She's trying to go. Now, what I'm doing is I'm gonna try to follow. Let's see how well you can see this. Follow this ridge right here, and then it drops off down into there's a creek, a pretty good sized creek down in here. I'm gonna try to get down in there to that creek bed. When I went down all the way to the creek, there was a guy sitting in this stand. He was out cold. He was laid over his head. It looked like he was about to fall out of it, but I didn't mess with it. I just seen him turn around and backed out, you know, and he never even woke up and see me or heard me or nothing. But what I done was back out. I come back up these ridges. I was seeing a bunch of buck sign where all these ridges come together at. But you know, I don't like I can't stand sitting in a pine tree. But what I done is because you can see most of everything right here is pine. We got some big much. You don't always have to climb the tree with it. You can see I got my camera arm. Look at there. Just use the platform for a chair. Put it low enough. Make it comfortable. Got my camera arm right here. My bag's on the ground right in front of me. We ready to go. You always have options with a tree saddle. Alright. I absolutely did not see anything. Which, we got some coyotes in the area too. Because they just went a little crazy. Now, I'm sorry if I'm panting here, but we're going up a hill. Whew, man. But this is a good spot. I will give it that. I can't sit here. I have issues with pine trees. I don't know what it is. I just can't stand pine trees. So I'm pulling out here. You know, if that fellow wasn't sleeping down here in the stand, I'd have been down there in the creek bottom where I wanted to be. But that's part of public land. Good morning. This is the last morning of the deercation. I come down the hill back here behind me. I did all this in the dark, so I really don't know what I'm set up in. I just know I come down the hill and there's like a slight bench. But you know, and you can see it's got a bunch of these little oaks in it. Then it drops back off to the creek. I pretty much set up here because of how pretty it was, and it's a bench. It's flat ground, so maybe they be crossing it somewhere. I didn't stomp around. I just walked straight down the hill, come straight in here, and found this, and said, well, I'll set up right here. Well, I think I'm just gonna call it a morning. I'm getting hungry. And this spot's just dead. There ain't even no squirrels moving. I mean, after I got sat here for about an hour and it got real good daylight, when the sun moved, there's a stand over here to my left. It's been set, I don't know how long it's been there, but I didn't notice it until the sun moved enough to get the shadows off of it. When the sun moved it and got some light on it, then I seen it. But it's not far from me. For whatever reason, they got daggum, I'd say 15 foot up there. They got water bottles tied all the way around the tree. I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna get down. Today's our last day here. Yeah, it's been a struggle. I done snuck up on Mike. He's still sitting in the tree. We are officially headed out for the last sit of deercation. Oh, it's kind of bittersweet, you know, and I feel like I just had a few more days I can make this happen. But there's always next year. the spot I'm going to, it's just something that up on the road there is a pile. You can see all around me. It's been clear cut, but all down in these little all these little draws have still got trees in them. But what at the top up here, there is a pile of deer tracks crossing the road, getting down in this little bottom and going down here. And I come down in here earlier, and there was a very good deer trail crossing a creek down here. So I'm just gonna go down here to the bottom and set up for my win and just hope for the best, you know. And this afternoon's, we didn't want to push ourselves too much. We done been hoofing it around all week, so we're gonna pick us some easy spots and hope for the best, you know. And if it happens, it happens. If not, then we'll see them next year. But we're getting down in here, we're getting closer to this bottom down here. I'm gonna get quiet and find me somewhere to set up. But right down here in this creek, right there, is where they crossing. They coming up the hill from behind me. Down in that little draw, coming right through here, crossing that creek. On the other side of the creek, you can see the ridges up there. You know, and I'm sure they're going up those ridges. But for the most part, it looks like when they cross the creek right here, there's a trail that runs along the side of the creek. And there's a bunch of rubs and scrapes on the other side of the creek. And one reason I got as close as I did to the creek, because I wanted to be able to see down in there. Because when I walked through there earlier today, there was deer tracks. You can see they was walking up and down the creek, in the creek bed. So I wanted to get close enough to make sure I could see into the creek bed. But my wind's blowing straight down from my left to right, which is parallel with the creek and this little bottom. So we got a pretty good wind, as long as it's not twirling once it gets down there. But it's turning out to be a beautiful day today. There was a pretty good bit of deer killed this morning out here. Or at least there should have been. There's a bunch of shots. And all these tracks that I seen in here this morning when I come in here and scouted it, it's all fresh because it rained all day yesterday. Alright folks, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. Or a year, whatever you want to call it. You know, I've been blessed. Been very blessed. So I'm not gonna complain about it. But this has been a pretty good challenge. You know, I can't wait to come back over here. I had a few encounters with some really nice bucks. Some missed opportunities with a nice buck. Seen a bunch of little ones, bunch of does. So I'm not complaining. I'm not bringing anything home, but still been blessed enough and had fun and enjoyed every last bit of it. But with that, we appreciate y'all watching. Stay tuned. We gonna be doing some hog hunting until turkey season comes in. I don't know how much we're gonna do, but I'm gonna try to get the kids back out there with the crossbow. So stay tuned. We'll catch you on the next video.